Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic that is about the recently celebrated Parakram Diwas on Jan 23rd of every year. This year we have the 128th birth anniversary of the legendary man that is Subhash Chandra Bose. So today, from a historical perspective, we will try to understand what is the significance of Subhash Chandra Bose as a person, what is the myth that surrounds him, and what kind of legendary life he has led. Let's try to understand. So when it comes to Subhash Chandra Bose, he was in fact born into a very wealthy Bengali family in the region of Cuttack, which was part of undivided Bengal and today's Odisha. And Subhash Chandra Bose, from a very young age, he was academically a very great academically an excellent student, and at the same time he had a great orientation towards spirituality. And as part of his orientation towards spirituality, he got attracted towards the ideas of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa on one side, and along with that Swami Vivekananda. And in fact, Subhash Chandra Bose at one point of time, he called Swami Vivekananda as the patron prophet of nationalism in Bengal. So, and he was very, very much attracted to the ideas of Swami Vivekananda, particularly the concept of selfless service, courage, strength, nationalism. All of these things attracted Subhash Chandra Bose towards Swami Vivekananda. And because of his academic excellence, he was admitted to the Presidency College. And in the Presidency College, despite of being a very good student, when an English professor or when a British professor, he made some indecent remarks against India, what he has done is, by ganging up with some students, he hit the teacher with slippers. So because of which reason, he was suspended from the Presidency College, and later day, with great difficulty, he was admitted to the Scottish Church College. And after finishing his education in the Scottish Church College, in order to pursue the Indian Civil Services examination, so he went to London, and there, in the first examination which was conducted for Indian Civil Services, he stood 6th. And he was, in fact, he was supposed to take the second examination, but he felt that if he joins into civil services, he will not be able to do service to the nation. And what he did is, he quit the civil services journey and he came back to India. And at a very young age of 24, he joined the ranks of Indian nationalism and became a very prominent leader in Bengal under the leadership of C.R. Das. Chittaranjan Das is a very, very prominent lawyer of Bengal, and under his mentorship, Subhash Chandra Bose started gaining a lot of significance in Indian national movement. And with the significance that he was gaining in Indian nationalism, Subhash Chandra Bose himself started getting attracted towards the concept of socialism. And it was a guiding principle for him, primarily looking at the poverty, illiteracy of India. Subhash Chandra Bose felt that socialism is the required ideology for India, and at the same time, he also represented a concept of anti-British nationalism. So these are some essential principles of Subhash Chandra Bose. One is socialism, and the second principle that he represented is the principle of anti-colonialism. So these are the two prominent ideologies of Subhash Chandra Bose when he joined the ranks of Indian nationalism. So with these two ideologies, he became a very, very popular leader in Indian national movement, particularly along with Jawaharlal Nehru. He represented the young sections of Indian national movement who demanded complete independence of India, which is also called as Purna Swaraj. So without any conditions, without any dominion status, the complete independence of India and the transition of India to a republic are some of the essential demands that Subhash Chandra Bose put out. And he started organizing the youth, the workers and the farmers across India. And through this, he gained a lot of significance. And because of his rising significance, he was made the president of Indian National Congress in two sessions. One is the 1938 Haripuri session and the 1939 Tripuri session. So in both the sessions, he was elected as the president of Indian National Congress. And along with that, Subhash Chandra Bose was an active participant in the civil disobedience movement and all prominent nationalist movements he was an active partner in. And so when he was doing all these things, Subhash Chandra Bose, he also got attracted towards the ideology of fascism, sir. So fascism is usually having a lot of negative connotation because this is the ideology which is associated with the people like Hitler, Mussolini, Japan, who have conducted a lot many atrocities against humanity. But Subhash Chandra Bose, what he did is, his in fact involvement with fascism or fascist ideology is primarily because fascism represented a form of aggressive nationalism which was in sync with the ideology of Subhash Chandra Bose, under which, in order to achieve the independence for the nation, even the violent path is also acceptable is the conception of Subhash Chandra Bose, and the same thing was represented by the fascist ideology, and by mingling the two contrary ideologies, that is fascism and socialism. See, in fact, these two ideologies are completely in contrast with each other, and world over, these two ideologies never tried to sync with each other, and in fact there were a lot many conflicts between these two ideologies. But Subhash Chandra Bose's brilliance is, he in fact tried to mingle these two ideologies, and by mingling these two ideologies, he in fact created a new ideology of his own, which is called as Samyavada. Samyavada ideology is the ideology that he created by mingling the socialist and fascist ideologies. So both of them should be combined in order to, in fact, create a bright future for India is the conception that he had. And from fascism, he has learned the concept of aggressive nationalism, which is even choosing the path of violence in order to make the country independent, which was dead against the concept of Gandhiji, where Gandhiji gave highest importance to non-violence in order to achieve independence for the country. Now, apart from this aggressive nationalism, the second thing that he in fact liked about fascism is a form of authoritarianism. So it is famously said that Subhash Chandra Bose in fact is a strong supporter of authoritarianism, and on multiple occasions he himself made statement that after the British quit India and India becomes independent, at least for 2 decades, that is for 20 years, India should have an authoritarian government in order to resolve all the socio-economic problems for India. In fact, he chose the fascist means, and he tried to combine them with the socialist ends. And what are the ends of socialism? Equality. In order to achieve equality, we have to take the path of aggressive nationalism, and along with aggressive nationalism, we also have to support authoritarianism is the conception which Subhash Chandra Bose represented, and his path towards socialism is through fascism, and this is called as the famous Samyavada ideology. And because of this ideology, he was not in sync with the prominent leadership of Indian national movement. Particularly, he had some opinionated opposition to Gandhiji. So because of which reason, in 1939, in the Tripuri session, despite of being elected as the president of Indian National Congress, he was forced to resign from the position by Gandhiji. And after he resigned from the position, so he in fact was, when he launched a civil disobedience movement in Bengal without the permission of the Indian National Congress, he was expelled from Indian National Congress. And after being expelled from Indian National Congress, he formed a very famous party which is called as the Forward Bloc of India. All India Forward Bloc, or Forward Bloc, is the new political party that he has established. And in the year 1939, from the platform of All India Forward Bloc, he conducted a satyagraha which is famously called as the Holwell Satyagraha. And this was meant to remove a monument, which has been constructed by the Britishers for the dead Britishers, in the Black Hole episode. So you might be knowing about the Black Hole episode of Sirajuddaulah. So, and in order to commemorate the British victims of the Black Hole episode, they constructed this Holwell monument. And Subhash Chandra Bose felt that only when a few hundred Britishers died, there is a huge monument constructed. But under colonialism, millions of Indians have died, and there is no monument for all these Indians. That is the reason why he targeted this Holwell monument, and he wanted the removal of this monument, for which he conducted a satyagraha called Holwell Satyagraha. And when the satyagraha was conducted, he was detained and arrested by the Britishers. And in detention, what he did is, he in fact made a commitment in order to fight for India's independence by getting associated with the enemies of Britain. And from his home arrest in Calcutta, he escaped, and dressing up as a Kabuliwala, that is an Afghani person or a Pathan, he went from Bengal region to the Peshawar region. From Peshawar, he crossed over to Afghanistan, and from Afghanistan, he went into USSR, and there he met Stalin. Okay, and when he tried to request Stalin's support for Indian independence, Stalin was not very willing. But Stalin, what he did is he sent him to Germany. And here, the second phase of Subhash Chandra Bose nationalism, it started. And in Germany, what he has done is he established an army of his own, which is called as Mukti Sena. And this army contained the prisoners of war who have been captured by Germany in Africa. So, and with this army, he created a Mukti Sena. And because of his brilliance, because of his great capability to give speeches, it is the people of Germany who gave Subhash Chandra Bose the title of Netaji here, sir. And in the Germany itself, Subhash Chandra Bose, he started using this salutation that is called as Jai Hind. So you might be knowing that many people today, in order to greet a person or to say goodbye, they usually use this title which is called as Jai Hind. And this tradition was started by Subhash Chandra Bose. So he started the tradition of Jai Hind, and he himself was called as Netaji by the people of Germany. And he stayed in Germany from almost 1940 to 43. And in 1943, what happened is he was sent from Germany to Japan, as the Japanese had by then established a 40,000 soldiers army of Indian National Army, but they did not have any effective leadership for this Indian National Army. And majority of these 40,000 soldiers, they were the soldiers who in fact surrendered to the British in Singapore, surrendered to the Japanese in Singapore. They were originally part of the British Indian Army, and now they have been converted into Indian National Army. And Subhash Chandra Bose was given the leadership for this Indian National Army of 40,000 fighting soldiers. Sir, just imagine, he created an army which is 40,000 strong fighting force. And because of the charismatic leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose, the army's morale was raised, and he was able to conduct the INA very well, sir. And when he was the head of the Indian National Army, in fact, he controlled the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and he established a provisional Indian government initially in Singapore, which was later shifted to Rangoon in Burma. So provisional Indian government also he has established, and this Indian National Army, it tried to liberate India from the British control by entering through the northwest, sir. But quite unfortunately, this war against the British Empire, it led to a failure of INA in gaining victory or controlling the territory. But when INA lost the war along with the Japanese army, at the same time in 1945, the Japanese themselves surrendered to the Allied powers in Second World War. And when they surrendered to the Allied powers in the Second World War, Subhash Chandra Bose, he went to Japan in order to gain some support. But when the Japanese refused any support to him, he wanted to go from Japan to Russia in order to again gain the support of Stalin. But when he was traveling from Japan to Russia, the flight that he was traveling in, it crash landed in Taiwan, and in Taiwan itself, Subhash Chandra Bose, because of the third-degree burns that he received in the flight crash, he died, sir. But his death was immensely controversial in India, primarily because many of his strongest supporters, they refused to believe that Subhash Chandra Bose has died. So this was the case, and Subhash Chandra Bose, he in fact contributed so substantially, and his birth anniversary is being celebrated as Parakram Diwas because it represents, Parakramata means what? Valor. It represents courage, it represents valor, and it represents an uncompromising attitude. And Subhash Chandra Bose represented all these ideals throughout his life. And when the INA men, after his death, they were captured by the Britishers, when their trials were being conducted, there was significant support to Indian National Army men because they are considered to be Subhash men, sir. And this way, even after his death also, so the people of India, they showed a similar love towards the INA men, and these INA protests, they are very critical in achieving Indian independence. This way, Subhash Chandra Bose, in his death also, he served the cause of Indian nationalism. So this is one aspect that you should remember. And along with that, the Parakram Diwas, or the birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose, it was celebrated for the first time in Rangoon, that is in Burma. The INA men, they celebrated for the first time Subhash Chandra Bose Parakram Diwas, and the tradition is being continued by the Indian government till date. So, and Subhash Chandra Bose is one of the greatest sons of Indian soils, and as said by Gandhiji himself, Subhash Chandra Bose is definitely the prince among patriots. On this note, thank you for your time. Have a good day.